So you're here to listen to us bash Portugal? Well, you're in the wrong place. But if you want to know some of the things that we've noticed after 2 years of living here that aren't so great, that sounds more reasonable. Portugal has changed us in small but not insignificant ways. Now the changes have not been as drastic as a caterpillar into a butterfly, hello metamorphosis, but we do hope that by sharing this, you'll have another piece of the puzzle to know if Portugal is right for you to move to. We're on São Miguel Island in the Azores to mark our 2nd year anniversary of living in Portugal. Albeit cool and windy on the day, we wanted to sit outside with you so that you could take in the beautiful surroundings. I feel like I've gotten a lot more laid back since being here. Our work life is very different. It feels almost like we kind of live this quasi-retiree lifestyle, although we do stay very busy with Expats Everywhere and creating content for you guys.
I think one big way that it's changed me, and you're probably gonna laugh at this, is that I eat slower than I used to. And I think I still eat kind of fast, but at restaurants, you can't eat totally fast because they don't bring the food out or it comes out in stages and you kind of have to slow down. So I think that one thing that I really like is the restaurant culture. It has slowed me down.
Meals are pretty slow. Like you should kind of budget at least an hour if you're going to a sit-down restaurant. It's a good thing though. It's like you don't get pushed out of the restaurant. They're not trying to turn tables. Living in Portugal has not been all sunshine and roses. There are definitely problems with bureaucracy. And I think with how slow and inefficient sometimes bureaucratic things are with the government, we've just had to learn to roll with the punches. And that can be very frustrating.
I think something else too with just bureaucracy and being slow on things is a lot of people talk about the healthcare here, which is great. There are a lot of perks to the healthcare, but it's not perfect and they are also slow. So sometimes trying to get an appointment, like especially for Valencia, when something comes up and she gets sick and you just try to get her in, like nothing super fast in the public system. So you kind of just have to adapt. So really anything that has to go with that, like Josh was saying, bureaucracy, you have to know that it's not going to be fast. I tell a lot of people want to move to Portugal because they want that work-life balance and they want a slower pace of life. Well, that also translates into everything that they do. So you can't just be like, I want to go sit in a cafe, but then as soon as I need something, like, you know, I need my internet or my utilities turned on like this, it's probably not going to happen. So you do have to adapt and know that it's just going to be like this slower pace of life in all aspects of life.
And I think along with that, what this healthcare system has shown me is in some ways it works. In terms of it works functionally for people. Now, whether or not it works for the actual healthcare workers, I'm not sure of because it doesn't seem like they get paid a good wage. Our Portuguese isn't great. And when we go into healthcare situations, you tend to find there's not a lot of English-speaking healthcare workers. Like you're going to be confronted with someone who doesn't speak English, and then it's like they won't try. Now, I know that the comment section is going to blow up like, you should know. Look, guys, it's not that easy.
It's vocabulary that you don't use often, which is really hard.
Yeah,
it can be a little
struggle.
frustrating. And I think it's probably more so in the public sector compared to the private sector. On the phone, at one time I was so frustrated because I was doing so well, I thought. And then she's, oh, you know, saying, okay. And then eventually she just cut me off and said, call tomorrow. And I was like,
and then hung up.
And then hung up on me. And I was just like, oh, so frustrated because I was like, I'm trying as much as I can here to get, and that was an appointment for Sia too. So.
And this was in Portuguese.
It was all in Portuguese, yeah. That was a bit frustrating, to say the least.
You died inside a little bit.
Yeah, it was a bit discouraging, I think, because we are trying to learn Portuguese.
In the service side of things that are non-hospitality, that's where you hit roadblocks with English Portuguese. Portuguese people in general, fantastic level of English. So like hotels, restaurants, bars, that side of things, great.
Good, yeah.
Service industry, hospitality. Service industry, non-hospitality, medical, government, organizations.
Yes, government, that's so true.
Sometimes like trains and buses and metro stuff can be a problem.
Yeah. I think you actually touched on a really good one, like immigration stuff, even like with SEF. Like, how is it that this is like immigration, which means you're going to be working, they do work with Portuguese, of course, but like foreigners will be coming in.
Yeah.
And how is it that English is like so minimal? And that's another thing that's hard because it's terminology and words that you don't use on a daily basis, so it's really hard to communicate. A lot of people know about the language barriers that happen, but sometimes it's in those stressful situations that the English aspect is worse. So things like immigration or medical. One thing that I've kind of learned, it's been a bit hard to meet a lot of Portuguese people. So I think that's kind of surprised me because we love to kind of mingle with the locals and just anyone who is interested. and we've had a bit of a harder time doing that. I think soccer's helped a little bit. We've met some people through watching Porto.
Yeah, for sure. I think that most of the Portuguese people that we've met have been people that are in business. So they own their own business, and we just spark up a conversation about like how things are going with them, and therefore we kind of develop a relationship. I think things are going to start to improve now that our daughter's in school, and we have actually made some friends over the past 2 years.
So sometimes I think it's hard to meet people, but if you get into different events and groups and, there's something that's a hobby, that's the best place to meet people.
Sports has been a huge thing for us here in Portugal. It's been amazing to be able to attend live sporting events again.
Yep.
If you guys are into any sort of live event, whether it be music, sports, or I don't know, underwater basket weaving, It's really great to, and I've found this, it's really great to kind of have that community to get involved in and go out and be with. And it's such an easy barrier to break down among foreigners and locals. That's really cool, because I don't know if you really find that in the US, right?
Yeah,
like usually it's like you go to that group and it's just Americans.
Yeah, that's
so you don't
true.
find a diversity among nationalities.
Even if you don't love the sport or event or whatever it is, just going to it and enjoying yourself and learning something new is a great way to learn something new for yourself, but then also meet other people.
I think the other problem is we're still working, and I don't feel like I'm as efficient and effective because of how slow things happen here. So sometimes a day will finish and I don't feel like I've accomplished much, and that hurts. Like, it hurts my spirit.
Does it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
I don't have that issue.
I've had to like calm down a lot and just be cool.
I think that's
like
what you
roll
started
with
with,
the
right?
No, I mean, I don't mean like slow down. I mean like in those types of situations where I think a lot of people in their home country would get frustrated with the way something works. Getting frustrated here like does absolutely nothing.
No.
It's not going to change somebody's urgency. And if it does, like, is that the right reason to change their urgency, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a really bad reason to change someone's urgency because you got all aggro.
yeah, that's true.
You know? It's been 2 years that we've been here. How much longer do you think you want to be in Portugal?
Ooh, that's a good question. I really like it. I mean, there's a lot of perks to being here. Sia just started school. We're still looking to buy a place. Obviously, we have NHR to think about in the stage of life that we're in. But, I mean, I think we're here at least another 5 years. What do you think? I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I struck a nerve there.
Yeah. I mean, I think in the grand scheme of things, like, we're 40% of the way there in terms of getting citizenship. And I think it would be really valuable for us to get citizenship, provide our family the ability to be mobile within Europe, have a strong American passport, which we're super thankful for, but to be able to have both and to be able to kind of open up the world to our daughter for sure. But I don't know if I'm thinking like 8 years to finish out NHR. I've got other places that are not like turning my head, but that I'm curious about. Like, I'm really curious about traveling, guys. Whenever we go to new places, it's why we like to ask each other, would you expat that? So like, would you want to live in that place for like medium term, 6 months, year, 2 years, whatever? I think at this point, 2 years is easy to live in a place.
Yeah.
And 4 years
just done
flew by in Singapore.
That's true, yeah.
And I think 5 years is going to go quickly. Like the next 3 years, we're going to be sat down in front of the camera speaking with you, and it's just going to go in a blink of an eye. But
So,
yeah,
to be determined.
to be determined.
Yeah.
So the only thing I ask you guys to do, since you've made it to the end of the video, is hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you're interested in content like this. That notification bell is going to let you know whenever we drop a video. Now let's get moving.
Bye.
Bye.